And so as soon as I came on, I was in the Skill Bridge program. As soon as I came on, they were just like, "Hey, there was Hurricane Helene that happened in Western North Carolina," and I was like, "Well, let's get out there and support." And to watch the business come together to support that initiative, me being an FNG, they didn't know who I was.
Right.
They just, but to watch an organization, a company that isn't a disaster relief organization, but being able to coordinate and put things together, the best support was just amazing to see it all come together. All even down like, big props to our people out in our Manchester roasting facility right there in Coffee County, Tennessee. They were just like, "Yeah, when do you get here?" And when I got there, they already had pallets. They're just like, "This is everything that we're going to push out to you and everything." And I literally, this was happening so fast. I just went and rented the biggest U-Haul I could find, and then we just packed it to the
Hell
max.
yeah.
And I'm just like, "All right, well, I got 16-hour drive to make it a." It wasn't supposed to be 16 hours, but so many roads were gone. I was found myself taking a 40-foot U-Haul in places it probably shouldn't have been.
Right.
I'm like this is gonna get real scary, but we made it happen. And it was so, and then just to see the impact on the communities. At the time, I was honestly a little bit worried because, while we had propane and blankets and everything else we could find to donate, the mass majority of it was coffee, and fresh water. And I was just like, well, heck, man, if I show up to some of these people and I'm just like, "Hey, I brought you coffee."
They're going to be like,
Yeah, are they going to be like, "Look, man, I don't even have a house,"
right.
and I didn't want to do something that would come off as being kind of ignorant to it or a dick. And it was the polar opposite. I had people losing their minds. They're just like, "You realize how much supplies we've received and we're grateful for all of it. But the one thing nobody has showed up with is coffee."
Hell
And
yeah.
like I'm talking like we were flying away on helicopters. People were like screaming. I had people call like, I mean, just the phones were off the hook. "Hey, can you make it out here?" We had to contract a helicopter because some of the places we couldn't get to
Couldn't
drive.
get to, right?
So we started no shit airdropping,
Hell
coffee in
yeah.
places. Yeah. So I mean, it became a full blown tactical operation that it just started to just. I mean, it was
But
supposed to
that's
be just Dean driving around, as a UPS man, and then before you know it, here I am like, "Well, hey, we haven't heard from this old family that's out in the middle of nowhere that got hurt, or got hit by the rains." And so I was just like, "Well, just drop me off and I'll walk it in." And then I did, and I'd go knock on their door and
how the hell
they'd
did you
be,
get here?
they'd be like, "How did you get here?" And I'd be like, "Well, it doesn't matter, but are you okay?" And they're like, "Yeah, we stocked up and had fresh supplies and everything." So I'm like, "Well, okay, cool. Well, here's an emergency number if you need it and anything, and give them a little care package and stuff." But it was just, to see the community. And quite frankly, I kind of fell in love with Western North Carolina. I was like, "Man, I could live out here."
Dude,
It was
so
so
so you
gorgeous.
realize though, here's the magic. And this is something Bear and I talk about. Your whole leadership, yourself included, are former special operators. The thinking out of the box thing.
Mhm.
If you'd have sent even, I'm sorry, but even a trained FEMA person would not have had the adaptability that you have with your background from special forces to get in there and be like, I mean, this shit's not that bad to us, right? We have lived in some real shitholes
Yeah.
and gone a long time without any food, without showers. And
Well,
all
I
that.
got asked that
Yeah.
question.
So
They're just like, "Well, where are you staying?" I was like, "Oh, well, on the ground. I got
yeah,
my backpack and my, sleep
wherever I park,
Yeah, pretty much."
wherever I park,
I was like, once I unload some of this stuff from the U-Haul, I'll probably
get in the back.
I'll probably sleep there, with my
Right.
little puss pad and everything. And, and not the, once again, humbly, it kind of surprised me. People were asking me that question because I was like, that was like the least of my concern. I'm like, I'll sleep.
But they don't get it, man. They don't
Yeah.
get it, and they also, I am sure, appreciate the fact that you weren't there with 800 media cameras flashing the black. You were there delivering,
Mhm.
and that's the cool thing I love is that behind the scenes it's happening. It wasn't a it was a let's go help thing, and of course there's some stuff that comes out of it. But man, at the end of the day, it's like let's just go do this.
Yeah, it was just one of those and then like, most recently in Kerrville, and that one hit home because, we had our employees that lived in that area. So we did the same exact thing. We once again, what I get the honor of overseeing is I built a really great relationship with Operation Barbecue Relief, OBR, with Stan Hayes and his crew over there. And it's been amazing to watch because they have the know-how, the expertise, the people, and I'm just like, hey, what can I give you to help you do what you do better? Because
That's
I'm a
awesome.
false multiplier guy.
Oh yeah.
So me, I'm always better through people. So I believe in partnerships, collaboration. If it's for the greater good, we'll figure it out. But like having good partners like them that we'll continue to support. And and I'm working with Jeremy now over at Aerial Recovery. I don't know if you're familiar with those guys, but they bring the tactical element to disaster relief effort that I was kind of missing in the portfolio. So I was like bringing them in. I mean, they just got a crew of pipe hitters that just were literally like, "Hey, we'll assist with search and rescue. We'll do route clearance." Kind of the manual labor stuff on.
The stuff that we're used to having overseas that
Yep,
you don't think you'll need, but in a natural disaster, you fucking need it.
100%. So I
Yeah.
watched them in action in Western North Carolina, and then they went down to Florida, and I was just like, "Hey, how do I help you?"
Awesome.
So that's all I do now is I literally try to find great partners through both a for-profit and nonprofit standpoint and say, hey, how can I help you? And it's as simple as
It
that.
is simple as that, especially if you vet the ethos.
Mhm.
If you realize that these people are actually here for the same mission and have the same background, it's automatic. You just got to make sure you do that because you will get those that don't fit in that mold. But I'll tell you, we in Western North Carolina, it was one of those where we were like, "What can we do?" type thing. And 107 Foundation reached out to me, and they're like, "Hey, you know what the number one request is for here?" I'm like, "Water? What?" They're like, "No, they're all don't have homes, and it's actually getting cold at night. Can you send jackets?"
Mhm.
And I don't know how many fucking jackets we sent, but I mean, it was
Yeah.
pallets and pallets. And I just remember going to Tony, our president, and being like, "Hey, dude, I want to launch the fleet on jackets." And he's like, "What's the mechanism?" I'm like, "We're sending them to 107 Foundation. They're going to distribute them." He's like, "Execute."
Yep.
And that's kind of what our piece of it was there too. We were not in a position to really do what you did. Now that I hear that, it opens up my optic a little bit too
Yeah.
on
Well, in the future, because unfortunately, there will be
oh
other
yeah.
natural disasters. And if you guys ever want to I guarantee you we'll be out there in
Yeah.
force. We got I call them coffee balls, like speed balls.
Oh
So I
yeah.
got those already pre-built, that get refurbished every month. But as much as we can as a coffee company,